My girlfriend jokingly said that she wants children, although we are in a free relationship. I broke up with her right away. Did I do the right thing? My 23M ex-girlfriend, 25F, and I were together for just under 8 months, and we really clicked from the start. We got along like a house on fire. We had a lot in common, from our morals and goals to our taste in music. My family absolutely adored her, probably more than they do me. My mom always wanted a daughter, but ended up with 4 sons before she gave up. About 3 months ago, we were sitting on the couch. I was watching a movie while she was scrolling through TikTok. This isn't a TikTok hate post. Scrolling can be fun. I'm just more of a YouTube guy. She showed me a video of a man holding his son and dancing to a song. She laughed and mentioned how good I would look as a dad, which struck me as odd because, as far as I knew, both of us were child-free by choice. I certainly am. I tried to take it as a joke and mentioned that it was too bad, so sad. She would never know. I expected her to respond with something about how there's nothing sad about avoiding having kids or something similar. She had never given me any indication before this that she wanted children. Instead, she started giggling, this almost evil giggle, and said something like, "I don't know, it only takes one broken condom," in a sing-song voice that gave me goosebumps. The implication was clear in her tone. Was she joking about poking holes in condoms? To me? For real? I tried to laugh it off, but it made me incredibly uncomfortable, like skin-crawling levels of discomfort. After that, my sexual interest in her completely vanished. It was as if I processed her as a threat. To be entirely honest, my libido in general has been entirely gone since then. It feels like it's hibernating or something until the scary lady is gone. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you communicate? I tried a couple of times, but she would just say, "Oh my God, I was kidding you, big baby." She never denied that the joke was about tampering with condoms. I dropped it and stopped bringing it up because I didn't think it was worth the fight at that point. While I still care about her a lot, I do not feel comfortable even going to sleep around her, and there's no way that can mesh with a healthy relationship. If there's no trust, there's no relationship. That's how I feel. So I broke up with her. When I told her, I said it was because I really needed to focus on myself. I didn't see the point in telling her the real reason. It would have just pissed her off. As it stands, she seemed to take it in stride, not angry or concerningly upset, so that's good. My family is more heartbroken than I am, and I haven't been doing great. They're begging me to reconsider, but there's no way I would, especially since I'm not telling them the real reason. My mother would be beside herself, thinking, "Grandchildren, please, son, give me grandchildren." Even my dad, who doesn't care much about grandchildren and recognizes that he's more likely to get them from my younger siblings, would call me out for overreacting. So they got the same story she did. It's frustrating because I know it was probably just a joke and no big deal, but it was also upsetting and sad. I know I'm overreacting, but at that moment it felt like my only option. I don't want to take it back, even if I am overreacting. You might think I'm paranoid, and I probably am, but I just couldn't stop thinking about it. After she made that joke, I think the relationship was going to end one way or another. I'm glad it ended on decent terms instead of trying to stay and fix everything until I ended up hating her. Sorry for talking so much, but I don't have anyone to talk to about this. Being unreasonable in real life feels like a criminal offense, and I'm trying to avoid adding another black mark to my reputation. Anyway, I'm off to research vasectomies because I won't be entering another relationship or becoming active with anyone until then. Ha ha. Relevant comments. OOP on his ex wanting kids, and he doesn't. OOP. I was unequivocal from the very beginning about my stance on having children. Based on what she had communicated to me, it seemed that she was on the same page. I would never have pursued a relationship with her for 8 months if I had believed she wanted kids, as I have no intention of wasting someone's time under false pretenses. If her desire was to have children, she should have been upfront about it from the start instead of engaging in whatever misleading behavior that was. OOP on having commitment and/or trust issues when it comes to having kids. OOP. I wouldn't say it's a commitment issue, but I definitely have trust issues to a degree. I think that's pretty clear from the post. I don't mean to be that way, but it doesn't feel fair to keep that kind of relationship going either. I don't want children because, as I regularly tell my kid brothers, I did my fatherhood time wiping their asses. They know I'm joking to a degree, but I think you catch the drift there. Edit. One thing I learned from this comment is that there are so many people on Reddit who don't curse and joke with their siblings, which just sounds sad. We're better than okay, and you don't have to worry about us. As for the TikTok, it was just a dad dancing around the room with a toddler in his arms. It was cute. I don't think it influenced my feelings. I felt pretty okay before the joke happened, and right afterward was when I just could not stop thinking about it. The reason I don't get back with her is because even if I am overreacting to the things I'm feeling, it's still what I feel and I don't trust her anymore. Maybe she did try to address it, but I really didn't want a fight that wouldn't make a difference. Oop on if he had to take responsibilities for taking care of his siblings. Oop, I am the eldest sibling and the next oldest is 16. A significant part of the reason I don't want children stems from my upbringing. My dad and I get along okay now, but my mom and I still fight about it a lot because, from her perspective, it was my responsibility to take care of my brothers the way I did. And that's just the way things are. She believes that when I have kids, I'll understand. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, but I still remember how my list of chores grew with each pregnancy. By the time I was in middle school, I was in charge of the youngest two whenever I was home. If they got into anything or caused trouble, I would be the one punished, often with my mom's belt or dad's board. Edit. I want to defend my mother a little bit, or at least explain why I haven't gone no contact. The reason she believes it's the responsibility of the eldest is that she, as an eldest sibling herself, was raised that way. Additionally, I believe she suffered heavily from postpartum depression during this time. I don't think my mother is a heartless monster or a lazy parent. I think she was going through a hard time mentally and handled it the best way she knew how, which unfortunately meant leaning on me. I wanted to add this because this post has garnered a lot of attention, and I don't want anyone to think poorly of her for something that was out of her control. I don't blame my brothers for any of this. In fact, we joke around about it. I still talk to and see them regularly, and we even have a fishing trip planned out of state in a couple of months. I love them more than anything, so I get a little defensive when people act like they know anything about them or me. I know I should work on that too, but it's a problem. Rude people really get to me. I know I should go to therapy, and I've tried, but there aren't many options without a wait list near me, so I'm kind of at a standstill. The fact is, even if therapy changed my fears, I know what I want from life, and it isn't children. I've done my time changing diapers and such, and I really don't want to go back to the most miserable time in my life. Before anyone asks, yes, my ex knew all of this. Update. Well, I never ever thought I would have an update, but here we are, LOL. I thought I'd lost the password to this account and everything, but it turns out it was saved in the notes on my laptop. This update isn't much, but I can share that I did end up telling my friends more about the breakup, especially after I found out that my ex is trying for a baby with her new boyfriend, who is also her ex. Just to clarify, I wasn't stalking her to get this information. I live in a small town, and two of my friends came to me and told me about it. They said they didn't want me to find out from someone else. Honestly, I didn't really care much outside of the relief that now I was sure she wasn't pregnant during the breakup, which had been giving me nightmares. Those nightmares have calmed down now. Apparently, both of my friends thought I would react badly to the information and spiral or something. Whatever. I know a lot of people said that I had overreacted to a joke, was a cruel-hearted and evil misogynist trying to control her body and everything else. But this just confirmed to me that she was never joking. I mean, it's been a little over 2 months since the breakup, and she's already trying to have a baby. I'm not angry at her anymore, not at all. In fact, I'm happy for her, because if this is what she wants, then good for her. I just wish she could have told me sooner so that neither of us would have wasted our time. I've been working on getting a vasectomy, but as of now, it hasn't happened yet. As I mentioned in the last post, I won't be sexually or romantically active to any degree with anyone but my hand until that's completed. I think I'm lightly traumatized. This is a joke. You can laugh. What else? I'm thinking about getting a new dog. I don't have anything else to add here, but thanks anyway. Relevant comment, OOP on his final thoughts of getting a vasectomy. OUP. In my last post, I touched on it briefly, but I didn't really delve into my medical anxiety. It's something I experience a lot. Even when I wrote that post, I knew I would eventually have to get a vasectomy because I realized that trusting someone else with my future No matter how trustworthy they may seem, just isn't enough. I've never had sex without a condom and never intend to. Even after the vasectomy, I'll continue using condoms. Every woman I've been with sexually has also expressed that they are child-free and on some form of birth control. I'm not into taking chances. The thought of having a child is something I can't mentally handle. I know I would be a terrible father. After the last incident, I knew it was time to take matters into my own hands, but I was still extremely nervous. The anxiety was so intense that I even considered becoming celibate just to avoid the possibility of fatherhood altogether. Surprisingly, it was the men and the wives of men on Reddit who reached out to me after my last post. They shared their understanding of my nerves and assured me that it was natural to feel this way. They explained that the procedure wasn't as scary or painful as it sounds. I'm very thankful for their support because it gave me the courage, pun not intended, to bring up the topic with my doctor and start the process. Some even offered advice on how to deal with the healing process, which I've fully taken under advisement. I'm hoping that afterward, I'll feel the same way they do, confused and frustrated with myself for not doing it sooner. Okay, next interesting story. Am I the jerk for breaking up with my fiancée because she attended her ex's birthday party? I, 27M, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, 26F, for 6 years, and we officially got engaged last month. Our relationship was pretty great, but the only argument we occasionally had was about her friendship with her ex, 27M. They had been friends since childhood and even dated for a few years. I was never comfortable with how close they were, and she even considered him her best friend. This was really irritating to me because I was her boyfriend and felt that I should be her best friend. However, I did not want to be controlling or dictate her friendships, so I never stood in her way, although I did voice my displeasure. A couple of weeks ago, it was her ex's birthday, and he invited only her, not me. She really wanted to go. I was extremely unhappy and voiced my concerns about it, but she insisted on attending the party and promised me that she would treat me when she came back home. She also assured me that this would be the last time she would hang out with him out of respect for our relationship, especially since we were now engaged. She promised to slowly cut off their friendship after that night. Feeling deflated, I reluctantly agreed, but asked her to come back home early. When she returned from the birthday party a few hours later, she was extremely happy and even initiated sex, but I rejected it because I wasn't feeling great. Over the next week, we barely spoke, even though my fiancée made numerous attempts to communicate and apologize. She reiterated that she would no longer be friends with him and apologized for attending the birthday party. By Sunday, after consulting with one of my close friends, 26M, and my two sisters, 25F, 29F, I had made my decision. All three of them said that she had disrespected me too much and that I needed to call off the engagement before getting married. I informed my fiancée of my decision, and she immediately broke down in tears and kept apologizing. Seeing her cry hurt me a lot. I told her the truth, that I hadn't felt respected in the relationship and couldn't see myself marrying someone who had disrespected me so much throughout our entire relationship. Update: it has been a week since I broke up with my fiancée. After I informed her of my decision, she packed everything up and moved out the next day. A few people in the comments were curious about what she was up to, so I reached out to one of our mutual friends to find out how she was doing. Unfortunately, she is not doing so great. She moved back in with her parents, who are blaming her for everything that happened because they really liked me. According to our mutual friend, she has also become a complete shell of herself. Hearing this made me feel extremely guilty, as this was not what I intended to happen when I broke up with her. I asked the mutual friend if a sit-down with my ex would be beneficial for her, and the mutual friend said that it would really help her. I then called my ex's mom and told her that it wasn't her daughter's fault, explaining that I was going through some internal issues and wasn't ready for marriage. Later, I called my ex and asked if she wanted to meet up this weekend. She sounded really happy about it, though her voice was quite hoarse, which made me feel even worse. We're going to meet up this weekend, and I plan to explain to her that it wasn't her fault and that I was dealing with some internal demons. I want to make it clear that we just weren't meant to be together and that she had no fault in this whatsoever. I hope this conversation will relieve her of her guilt and help her get back to normal soon. Final update. Yesterday, I met up with my ex at a coffee shop, and we ended up talking for a long time. We both preferred meeting sooner rather than waiting until the weekend. During our conversation, I took the opportunity to explain why our relationship fell apart. I told her that my insecurities were the demons I was battling, and that she deserved someone better than me. I made it clear that she had done nothing wrong in our relationship, and had always treated me with respect. I emphasized that the breakup was entirely my fault, and urged her not to be so hard on herself. She then asked if we could still remain friends, or possibly get back together after some time. She expressed that even if we never rekindled our romantic relationship, she deeply valued our friendship and wanted to maintain it. Her request caught me off guard, and at that moment, I realized how poorly I had handled everything. I decided to be upfront with her and said that it would be better to cut off contact completely to make a clean break, rather than letting unresolved feelings linger. This response made her cry really badly, and seeing her in such distress made me feel horrible. I became genuinely concerned about her mental health. Realizing the impact of my words, I backtracked and told her that we could indeed remain friends, and that I truly valued our friendship. I assured her that I had misunderstood her initial request. She was visibly relieved and happy about this, but wanted to make sure she wasn't pressuring me into maintaining the friendship. I reassured her that she wasn't pressuring me at all and that I genuinely valued her as a friend. I also advised her not to cut off contact with her best friend and to rekindle their friendship because she didn't deserve to lose him over this situation. However, she explained that her decision to end that friendship had nothing to do with our breakup. They were simply in different phases of life, and she no longer felt the need to maintain that friendship. We continued talking for about an hour after that, and she seemed to be in much better spirits by the end of our conversation. Seeing her positive outlook made me feel good too. My current plan is to remain friends with her until her mental health improves and then gradually distance myself from the friendship. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.